I'm having so much fun. She's the brains of the outfit.
I
Okay,
just run the
I
equipment.
gave you credit for that before you got it.
Oh, thank you.
okay. My name's David Summerfleck. I am a WordPress web developer. I love WordPress, and we'll get to that later. And anybody, if you have any questions, please hold them for later. Hoping that we'll have enough time to answer anything that you can come up with, okay? This is for small businesses, small to medium businesses, and basically how you can profit from smart cyber strategies. I know the title says cyber strategies. I added the word smart because I felt like, you know what, anybody can come up with a strategy. You would come up with an informed strategy, okay? This is my business site, okay? And this is for any small business owner, anyone starting a small business, thinking about ROI. If you're not thinking about ROI, you really need to think about it, okay? That's one of my favorite words, return on investment, okay? Now, I've heard many, many times from people starting small businesses, why do I really need a website? Why do I need a professional online presence? I can have a business that do just fine without it. If you're starting a restaurant, if you're opening a shoe store, if you're a plumber, whatever, electrician, you can say that. I don't need a website, okay? But you're missing out on a huge opportunity that you really don't need to be missing out on. So it blows my mind when I hear this, and I just think it's not being informed or maybe being intimidated by the subject matter. Now, according to an article I read from this website, marketingcharts.com, a great divide separates most small business owners from reaching potential online consumers. And here's the website address if you'd like to look at it. The divide is the internet. Okay, everybody here has a mobile device, right? How many people in here have a mobile device? Everybody, right? Okay, you either have a smartphone, an iPhone, or an iPad, or a tablet, something like that, especially if you're a student here. Why wouldn't you want one? Okay, they're great. And yet, let me just finish. 63% of consumers and small business owners refer to the internet first for information about local companies. Now, this is from a few years ago, so the number's probably higher now. 82% of consumers and small business owners use search engines to do their research. Hey, let me Google you. Let me Google myself. I want to find somewhere nice to go for dinner. I'm going to Google it. I'm going to look it up. Okay? Meanwhile, only 46% of small businesses have a website. Half of them spend less than 10% of their marketing budget online. Okay? Less than 10%. Okay? And as a matter of fact, if anybody in here, you ever get on Craigslist, you look up on Craigslist social media marketing jobs, they're almost always part-time, very, very low paying, and the attitude is, it's just really not that important. Statistically speaking, you get return on investment when it comes to social media marketing, when it comes around 30 hours a week. Yeah, so if you can't afford to hire someone to work on this at least 30 hours a week, you're not going to really statistically see marked returns. Now, if you're one person and you're trying to run a business or finish a degree and run a business at the same time, it's very, very challenging. Okay, why is this disconnect so profound among people starting businesses and even more established businesses? Why? I've heard I'm not a techie. I've been called a techie. I've heard people say it's a fad. I don't need it. I don't have time for it. I've heard that. My cousin's nephew is good at Excel. He can do it. Okay. Not really the same thing. It should be free. I've heard that. What's the difference between the free site? Why should I pay you when I can go to Weebly or Wix and get something for free, or go to Vistaprint and pay $5 a month? Okay, so it's too expensive when you compare it to that, where it should be free completely. I have a Facebook page. I don't need a website. There's actually several businesses up and down Colfax. I've seen a couple that have their Facebook page in big giant letters up on the banner above the store. they're not considering ROI. They're not considering return on investment. Okay? There are no companies in America today that are committed to growth. There are no major companies that don't have a professional website, period. There just isn't. Okay, these are 5 slides that I found from Quint. Okay, a Quint is a placement agency, and they call their employees creatives. Okay, but these are great slides. Internet consumption and advertising spending. Okay, media consumption, internet ad spending, 7%. 83% of businesses use the internet to research and find potential vendors. That's a lot. So 83% of all businesses are going to use the internet to research and find potential vendors, but they don't flip it and look at it in the same way. So 43% of all retail sales are expected to be influenced by or made on the internet. So you see, this is already dated. How much higher is it today? 68%, of U.S. online shoppers agree that they would distrust a site that does not have a professional appearance. So if you go to a site and it looks tacky, are you going to want to take advantage of that business? Are you going to want to call them? I know I'm not going to. The impact of design on credibility. This is big. I mean, this is huge. 75% of web users admit making judgments about the credibility of an organization based on the design of its website. I get phone calls and emails every day from people just saying, I need a website. I just want to solve the problem. And my first question to them is why? What are you going to do with it? You know, do you have a visual brand yet? Well, no. What difference does that make? And the difference is obvious. The more attractive it is, the more appealing it is, the easier it is for you to discern. The more time people are going to spend on it, the more likely they are to spend their money on this. So you're cheating yourself if you're thinking, hey, I have a small business, I want to get a website, a one-page listing is good enough. Well, they're going to look at it, they're going to say, you know what, if he doesn't care enough to invest what he would make in one day in this, well, why would I want to go and patronize your business? Intimidation, it can be overwhelming if you're starting a business and you're trying to figure out how to develop a professional online presence. How should this be designed? What information should be included? What am I ready for? A lot of businesses are not necessarily ready for growth. Are you at the point where you can handle 10 or 20 phone calls a day? You know, what if you get a phone call every day for someone who wants to do business with you? Can you scale to that? So some of the disconnect comes from feeling overwhelmed, not having enough time maybe to really take it seriously and address points, mixed messages from different people. And this is something that is extremely common that I hear every day. So-and-so told me they could do this for $50, or there's an agency over here that will do it for $200. So I want the cheapest that I could possibly get, but they're not focusing on the real return on investment that they're going to get from something professional that is appealing to the consumer, that makes sense, that can deliver the results. So they're just focusing on one thing and one thing only. Putting the cart before the horse. I want a website for my business. I had a phone call just the other day. A young lady wanted to start she wanted a website for her business. So I asked her, well, what does your business do? How do your business make money? She couldn't answer the questions. So I just said, well, put together a business plan. There's nothing for me to do for you right now. I'm going to create a website for you, but you have no existing business yet. There's nothing to fill in. There's nothing there. If you think I'm going to create a one-page site for you and you're going to get 1 million phone calls, it doesn't work that way. So these are some very common issues, okay? Web design is a business and a process. It's not a one hit wonder, okay? You get out what you put in. So if you're looking for a web developer, you want to look for a serious-minded approach, an interest in tight organization and scheduling, needing documents in advance, and the process for handling intake, okay? Just like any other business is going to have. Okay, if you're not selling products or services, you're not ready for phone calls and emails, you may not be ready for all different types of contacts coming by phone or by email. Okay, a lot of small business owners don't answer the phone. Okay, if you go up and down Colfax, just as an example, you could call many businesses and they don't answer. Or they'll have websites that don't have an email address. They're not scaling it. They're not seeing the broad picture, okay? Do not have time or initiative to engage in social media, SEO, blogging, working with a developer, or don't have a budget set aside yet. And it takes 10 minutes to just get on Google and just look up common estimates for websites, common prices, quotes. Okay, when to web. If you're ready to invest several $1,000s to create a professional online presence that will be a 24/7 marketing division for your business and be perceived and utilized that way, then you're ready for it. If you're not at that point, then you should wait. And that's my honest opinion. You know, if you're trying to start an online business, or if you're trying to start a business growing it really is better to wait until it's organized and all the pieces are ready to put together than just jump into it. Many people have had very